All right, bet. I'm gonna have to turn the group chat on do not disturb because they tripping. So I'm just a girl. I don't know how to do this. Wrong Instagram. My boobs look great. I don't know what that's about.
Take it away, feeling too good to me.
Hello, welcome back. My name is Ashley Nicole and all is well. So today we're getting a little off topic. I'm talking about books. So I decided that I would fast from self-help books. If you are anything like me, you are a self-help book girly, but it gets overwhelming. So much information, and then like you don't know where to start. You start over criticizing yourself and stuff like that. So I am now in my romance novel bag, and I wanted to share some of the books I've been reading. So let me back up. I've always been a reader, but like I said, I've always been a self-help reader or something work related. I'm reading about branding or marketing or tech stuff. That's the type of stuff that I normally would read. I've never, even as a child, I was never really into fiction. I didn't watch my first Marvel movie until I was like 21, 22, something like that. I didn't watch a lot of cartoons and stuff growing up. I watched the main ones, but I wasn't into deep cuts or into anime or anything like that. Fiction was never my thing. And I had a therapist tell me one time that I'm logical to a fault. So especially when I was younger, it was really hard for me to suspend logic. But as I've gotten older, like I said, I started watching Marvel movies. I really had gotten into this other superhero show called Heroes back in the day. And then nowadays, I watch pretty much anything that will entertain me. I know a lot of people watch TV to see themselves. I watch TV to escape. I watch a lot of crime stuff and hospital shows and stuff like that, because I can learn. I like to learn, so I watch things that I'm learning while I'm being entertained. A lot of documentaries, a lot of crime shows, a lot of hospital shows. I love to know things, random facts. I'm gonna spit them out in a conversation. That's just me. But it wasn't until May that I read my first romance novel. May of 2024 that I read my first romance novel, and I kept seeing, hold on. Y'all ever tried to cook and film at the same time? This be random. I have to jump on stuff while my brain is there, otherwise it'll never happen. So anyway, I kept seeing people on TikTok share all these books that they were reading, right? Seeing mixed reviews, but like people seem to be really picking up books more nowadays. I like to read. Let me go back to reading. So I actually, one book that I had picked up was The Off Guide by Blxst, I think is how you pronounce it. And then I was reading Power Moves by Sarah Jakes Roberts in a church group with some friends of mine. So reading those, obviously, like, because I'm on this faith journey or whatever, those are really powerful, and I will probably still continue with those, especially Power Moves by Sarah Jakes Roberts. It's that book specifically. Love all her books. I also finished All Hope Is Found earlier this year too. But Power Moves is so instructional. Is that the word? It's literal. She's giving you literal action steps. And it's taking me it's not a big book. It's taking me a long time to finish this because there's literal things that like she gives you to do, and it becomes overwhelming. But she breaks it up into steps to marinate, to activate, and then to pray. I get stuck in the marinate stage, and that's what we were talking about in the church group. A lot of us were like, it's such good information in that book, and once you marinate on it, I got so much work to do, and then you get overwhelmed and blah blah. So I probably will still finish that one. I'm gonna take that in bite sizes over the rest of the year. But then I'm like, okay, let me see what these romance novels are about. Again, never read a romance book in my life, or a fiction book for that matter, besides probably in high school, the ones that they made us read, Lords of the Flies and all that kind of stuff. But as an adult, these are the first fiction books I've read, specifically in the romance novel category too, and I'm loving it, and I did not think I would like it. The first thing I read was Kennedy Ryan's Before I Let Go. This had me in a chokehold. First of all, I feel like I'm not really qualified to review things like this because I don't have anything to compare it to, but Kennedy Ryan's writing is something that I will really get into. Wait, is this the one I read first? Oh no, maybe I read This Could Be Us first. Is this the one about, oh no, that's right, Before I Let Go. Yasmin, Josiah. I don't even know what to say, y'all. The one thing that I do want to point out about Before I Let Go in the character, because I don't want to give spoilers or whatever, I believe it's in this one, the character Yasmin. Actually, let me just double check. Yasmin, Deja's her daughter, right? Yes, Yasmin suffers from really debilitating migraines, and if y'all know me, that's something that I've suffered with for years and years and years, and still do to this day. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I've always struggled with talking about it myself too, just because of my past and interactions with doctors and things like that. People really don't know. If you've never experienced a migraine, you can't fathom that it's more than a headache. For some people, and for me, a lot of times it's a full body experience, and it really takes you down. And the way that Kennedy Ryan wrote about Yasmin's migraines and how it interfered with her day-to-day, the way that she was raising her daughter, the way that she showed up at work, this book made me feel seen. And that's just icing on top of the cake of the love story that is Yasmin and Josiah. Then I read This Could Be Us, and this is both of these books are in the same, what do we want to call that, universe, the same universe. I believe it's based on the neighborhood that they're from, or the neighborhood that they live in Atlanta. I forgot what it's called. I forgot what the area is called, but there's 3 books in this series, and the last book, so the first one is about Yasmin and Josiah. The second one is about Soledad and, I'm so bad with names, Judah. So Yasmin, Soledad, they're friends. And then there's a third friend. Why can't I think of people's names? Hendrix. The third book is about Hendrix, but that doesn't come out until, I believe, spring of 2025. I cannot wait. The other thing that I learned about myself while I was reading both of these books is that reading, for me, I've always been a slower reader because of my attention span and my comprehension skills. So it's like I would always find myself reading the same thing over and over and over until it stuck. The one thing that I've learned, and this might be for a lot of people a waste of money, but having the physical book in my hand and reading and then listening to the audiobook at the same time works wonders for me. I read both of these books each in a day or 2, and that's unheard of for me. And so I do have to have an Audible subscription and also buy the book, but honestly it's so worth it for me. And then you keep the Audible as long as you have the Audible, you keep the Audible's audiobooks as long as you have the Audible subscription, so I can always go back and read. And the way that my memory is set up too, I will have to revisit both of these books by the time the next book comes out, just to refresh my memory. I do the same thing with TV shows. New season comes out and it's been a year or whatever since the last season, I have to refresh my memory. So I like having both options, but I've learned about myself that it's easier for me to focus if multiple of my senses are engaged. So my hearing, obviously, touching the book, and reading with my eyes, so seeing. But that works for me. So that's what I found out while reading these 2 books. Great. And then I'm like, dang, I'm waiting on the 3rd book about Hendrix to come out. What am I gonna do in the meantime? Then I saw everybody talking about Tia Williams' 7 Days in June. I think, I'm not a crier, but I think this one pulled on so many of my heartstrings. It's so relatable if you've ever had, I guess it's not a spoiler because it's literally in the title, but it's basically about a guy and a girl who met as kids, like high schoolers, and literally spent 7 days together in June and then never saw each other again until they were adults. You just figure out like how they build their relationship from there. If you've ever, like me, had summer romances or gone away to camp and fell in love for 3 days and then never talked to the person again, I did that multiple times. I keep saying that I just kind of became or like into my lover girl era. I think I always was. Now that I think about it, I don't know. But this was very relatable. It made me think about my first love and a little bit of how toxic it was. And without telling y'all too much of my business, how someone from your past that is a soulmate in a way could still be a soulmate. I don't know. I ain't going back to none of my exes, but I'm saying I do communicate with one and best of friends. Just texting, checking up on each other every now and then. Don't live in the same state or anything, no phone calls, no FaceTime, nothing like that. But just to know that there's somebody across the world that knows you better than anybody else on this earth, and you barely talk to them. I don't know, it was just really relatable. This is really good. This is a yes too. Then this weekend I finished The Neighbor Favor by Kristina Forrest, and this is really good too. I think this one, and I don't know if it's the culmination of reading all of these back to back, but this one really got me angry a little bit about the male in the story. And maybe I'm in my niggas ain't shit era or whatever, but I'm not in real life. I don't believe that. But they do irk your soul. And the way this man handled this situation was frustrating me to no end in the beginning. But by the time he apologized, I was, my heart melted. And I'm like, and then I got mad at myself again, because why couldn't you just do it right the first time? Not saying he needed to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. But he had every opportunity. You hear him, his inner monologue during the opportunities to fix it, and he still went the other way. I don't know. This was frustrating me. I do think that compared to Kennedy Ryan and Tia Williams, Kristina's writing style is a little different. I did see, and I'm hoping that me watching other people review books and stuff like that didn't sway my thinking. But I do understand that some people were saying that some of the character development in this book was a little shaky, or a little, not even shaky. It just wasn't, I don't know what to say. The only thing I can do is compare it. But like I was saying about Yasmin, I felt like I was her in this book. Whereas, what is her name? Lord have mercy, help me with my memory. Whereas Lily, even listen, and maybe it was the way, maybe it was the people that they chose to listen to read the audiobook rather, but there was a good point maybe in chapter 4 or 5 where I had to question myself. It's like, is Lily black or white? I thought this was about, she's a black writer, I know that much, or a woman of color. I believe she's black. And I'm like, I thought these were black people, even with the cover. But it was something about the way Lily was written that made me question that in the beginning. I don't know. It could just be that she was a little more reserved and a little more nerdy, whereas the characters in Kennedy Ryan's books and in Tia Williams' book, they were more unapologetically black, if that makes sense. But if y'all can't tell, I am enjoying myself. So tonight I'm going to start reading the second book in this series. So this is The Neighbor Favor. I believe the next one is, let me check. I'm literally waiting on them to come in the mail today. I don't know what that noise was, so ignore that. As long as ain't nothing on fire. Let me see. So The Neighbor Favor, and then The Partner Plot is the second one. And then there's a third one that hasn't come out yet. So I'm waiting to finish these series, Kennedy Ryan and Kristina Forrest. So I'm waiting on that to come in. I'm gonna start that tonight just because this one is really fresh on my mind. And then I also am waiting on the Grip series by Kennedy Ryan. I bought the whole trilogy all at one time, so I can just read them back to back to back. I'm excited about that. And then once I'm done with those, I'll move on to another Tia Williams books. And I don't know, there's so many books out already by these authors that I feel like I'll just stick to their, what do you call when it's a singer or a rapper or something? It's a discography. What do you call the list of backlogged books? I don't know, but I'll finish whatever they have out and then we'll see what happens next. But I just wanted to share that if you are in a season of needing a getaway and escaping into these books has been amazing. What y'all reading? What else should I read? What should I read next? I told you what I have next up on the list. I'm thinking about going to crime or like thriller books. That's gonna be interesting because I've gotten softer as I've gotten older, in touch with my feelings, I would say, I have gotten scarier at the same time. I used to love horror movies. Now I'm gonna have a nightmare. I can't do it. So it's gonna be interesting for me to try thriller books or suspenseful books and see how that goes. But I just wanted to share. Thank you for watching. Again, I'm still developing my channel, so things that you will find here is stuff like this, me sharing what I'm doing, me sharing my health journey, my faith journey, sharing my work in photo, video, graphic design stuff. And you'll see a lot of my nephew, and I have another nephew on the way. I didn't even tell y'all on YouTube. It's been so long since I did an update, but my brother and my sister-in-law are pregnant again, and I have another nephew on the way. He will be here by the end of this year, so you'll see cute babies. And just thank you for being here as I figure this out. Full of gratitude. I don't know what else to say, but thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also follow me on TikTok and Instagram and what else, Threads. I'm everywhere. Pretty much everything is by Ashley Nicole. And then if you watched my last YouTube video, you saw me reintroduce my health and wellness brand called Shop Blxst, that is more focused on bringing awareness to chronic and invisible illnesses like the one that I live with. So I'm mixing all of this up together. Let me know what you want more of. Let me know if you have questions, things that you want me to start talking about on here. In the meantime, I'm gonna go finish cooking my dinner so that it doesn't burn, and love y'all.